Shalom, brother and sister truth seekers. Wanted to do a quick update with the Equinox event happening in September, any day now. There are truth seekers all around the world that are participating this year at least, well, 5 or 6 of them, not as much as we see in the spring, but a fair amount of them. Good concentration around South Africa and like Europe, and that's a very important area this year based on what we saw last spring for the Creators International Dateline. It's going to be very interesting to see if people in that neck of the world are seeing the straight line before or after people in the United States. I think that's going to tell us a lot. But yeah, just wanted to give you a quick update. So this database is available for anyone who wants to have access to these pictures. There'll be a link in the description below this video. It'll pop you into. You might have to drill down into a couple folders, but you go to the luminary pictures of luminary data. Go to the year and. You can go to the month. We're interested in the 9th month, and then the days. And as you drill down into the days, if there were multiple people recording around the world, then I split it up into the different areas. And this number in front, I just kind of did that to kind of help me generally keep things in order, time zone wise. But so yeah, just I'm gonna walk you through real quick some of the highlights that I remember lately. So this is from a new Covenant Calendar member, Lois, up in British Columbia, Canada. And yeah, we're still seeing a pre-equinox curve at this point. This was back on September 6th, but looking very interesting here. I'm looking forward to seeing what she comes up with. Hopefully, if she has clear skies for this next the next few days here. So then the 9th, I don't know if I'm going to look at all of these, and there should be a shout out for Angie here. Isle of Wight in the UK. I know the creator has just put a fire in their soul to to really dive into this work, and there's a lot of submissions for her area, and so you can see this is still a curve as of the 9th, and 10 hours of data, over 10 hours of data, and that's really what we want to see. And I'm going to use this as an example real quick because some people have been reaching out to me wondering like what they need to do, and this is a good example. So 10 hours of data is like kind of the minimum that we're encouraging people to shoot for, because it really helps us to see what the curve is, or if it's a straight line. But all you have to do is you have to have an object like a nail or a toothpick or a pencil with a tip on it that is casting a shadow on a flat surface over the course of the day. And you just need, at a minimum, you need 3 points over the course of the day. You need one shadow mark as early in the morning as you can, one around midday, and one around the end of the day, as late as you can in the day. And when you draw a line from the first point to the last point, you're just going to compare where that middle point landed. If it's right on the line that you drew, that's the day of the equinox. If it's off the line one way or another, then that's a curve. Like you can see a curve in this data, and yeah, it'll either be the pre-equinox curve or the post-equinox curve. So right now you can see this curve one way. As we get close to the equinox event, it's going to straighten out, and then the curve is going to actually flip the other direction. So it's going to go from like a smiley face to a rainbow shape. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Let's see here. So we're not going to look at every single one of these, but kudos for definitely for Angie. She got a lot of submissions here, getting a lot of practice in. This is Asher in New Zealand, and I think he's our youngest shadow marker, but this appears to still be curved, and that looks like quite a curve. There must be something interesting happening in his part of the world, but yeah, these points from midday are way off the line when he connects from first to last point of the day. But this is only the 9th of, or what is that, the 10th? Did I get the 10th? Okay, so that actually wasn't too long ago. So that looks like quite a curve, actually. But anyway, again, this is good practice. 7.5 hours. We do want to try and get as much as possible, but just do the best you can. And we'll kind of all work together to answer these questions about our creators' times. The 11th again, I think, was Angie. We're gonna skip ahead, but thank you, Angie, for your. Anyone can come and check these out if you want. We're gonna get to the interesting part, and I guess I should have started this out by saying, as of today, the 18th, I haven't heard anyone around the world seeing the straight line yet. It kind of looks like all still pre-equinox curves. So I guess we're gonna pick back up on the 17th here. And I think we had another submission from Asher. And unfortunately, I don't think I was able to say anything too conclusive about this data. If you can, when you take these pictures, make sure we can see the full timestamp. That must be an early morning point if that's 8:30 a.m. And just look how fast, like, all these points are so close together around midday, but at the beginning of the day, there's quite a jump. So for those who might be new at collecting shadow data, those early morning and late evening points are the most critical because they hook the most. Like that, they're going to really help you to see the curve versus the straight line. But that you got to be careful if you're going to get a drink of coffee or something and your shadow is getting cast on the board. You've got to get out there quickly in the morning because it moves very fast in those early morning and late evening hours. So let's see who else. Okay, we heard from South Africa. I thought we heard okay on the 17th. I guess it was just one. I think this was a new brother from South Africa. Not many hours of data, I say, but you're still able to see the curve even though it's not too much. So it's like 9 a.m. and maybe what is that? Like 12, 3:45. Maybe there's one other planet there. So again, do the best you can if at all possible. The more hours, the better. 10 really being a minimum. It's going to help you really see that curve, but sometimes you're able to see the curve without too much data, but I can tell you when you get close to the equinox event, like day of or day before, day after, it's like you could potentially see several days of data in a row where it looks straight, and it's just because those early morning and late evening points are the ones that really make the shadow hook the most. I've definitely seen it where people can think they're seeing a straight line for multiple days in a row if they don't get those early morning and late evening points. But that was good. Hopefully, you're able to get a few more hours of data on the day of. So this was Angie again. Isle of Right. Let's take a look. Still pre-equinox curve is the note. I don't write down how many hours, but I guess it was just obvious. She drops her straight edge on it, and you can see the points have lifted away. So no one yet is seeing a straight line as of the 17th. And then today we had at least. Okay, Angie again. So we had one from South Africa, Wendy in South Africa, and she's very experienced with the sundial. Uh, and I just wanted to. She had 10 hours of data, and she's still seeing a curve. But this was her setup. She just lives in the urban area, but she's look at that rising sun there. She can see it, and yeah, that's all you need. Just a nice sturdy setup, and make sure it doesn't move. How do I go back? And this is her actual data, so you can see um, this curve here. And I think she gave the timestamps here of when her first mark of the day and last mark of the day is. That's important. We need to know the time of your first mark of the day and the time of your last mark of the day. And if you want to just tell us the hours, that's really helpful to see that real quick and to be able to say, okay, if that's at least 10 hours, we know this is pretty good data set to evaluate. to base potential conclusions upon. And then Angie again, Isle of Right. Okay. Still a pre-equinox curve, I say. She's got the straight edge on there, so it should be getting tighter and tighter, but yeah, you can still see this gap. So that is it for now. We're getting really close. I pray that you all have sunshine, and please feel free to email me at avoiceoftruthandlove@gmail.com if you have sundial data submissions you'd like to contribute. And I will be posting live feeds as much as possible to this Facebook group, Solar Tracking Observations Confirming the Creator's Times via Genesis 1:14. So, yeah, I pretty much just throw any sundial data that I come across to this group. So it's a good place to kind of keep tabs on what's happening around the world. So I hope you will get out and help in this important work to try and understand things about our Creator's timepieces. May Allah bless you, and shalom as you continually seek out His truths in love with a